Welcome back to the Friar Talk YouTube and podcast channel. Today, we're going to be talking about pitching reinforcements and really talking about that, the chance that the Padres have to maybe make a little run here. If there's any hope of them making the playoffs, I think right now is the exact time where you have to make a run. You got 3 games against the Diamondbacks. I know that they've had their troubles against the Diamondbacks, but the Diamondbacks are not a good team. And then they have 5 games at home, or is it 6 games at home or 5?
I think it's 5. It's going to be 3 against the Astros and I believe 2 more against the Angels.
Yeah, so you win. I mean, if you can get a win streak here, I don't know. I feel like this is the time where it just has to happen here. If they don't go on the win streak here, they have a very tough schedule ahead of them. So I get a lot more skeptical if they don't do really well here. The Reds are losing right now. But Isaac, what do you think about these pitching reinforcements coming right now, and what do you think about the chance of them really making a run here, because they need to right now?
Yeah, so back in April, March-ish area, I doubt anyone thought we would need Chris Paddack this bad. I personally, obviously, as a Paddack backer, thought, yeah, we're going to need Chris Paddack this year as a back-end guy, because that's what he is. That's what he's proven to be all year. I think he's been solid back there, and comes back tonight. Hopefully, he's able to give a couple solid innings, at least 5 or 6, hopefully, and show why he was so solid for us before his injury. I'm excited for that. Dinelson Lamet, hopefully he's coming back soon as well, because, losing Drew Pomeranz earlier in the year for the whole year, getting someone like Lamet to fill that role is pretty nice, even though he's a righty and Pomeranz is a lefty. It's still kind of a dominant pitcher, and especially with the way the bullpen has been going lately, it is concerning, not because, yes, because they're giving up a lot of runs. However, we also got to remember they are insanely taxed, probably the most taxed bullpen in baseball. So getting a reinforcement is going to be huge for them. Could be a jolt of energy for that bullpen as well, especially with someone so electrifying as Dinelson Lamet. Obviously, this series we got Paddack, who's making his first start off injury, Darvish making his second start off injury, and Snell, who's been fantastic lately. And I believe we mentioned that he would have a bounce back second half. That's what the numbers show throughout his career, and he's showing that so far. Now, as far as the whole wild card thing is going, the Reds they're legit. They are trying to give us this spot. They are handing it to us on a silver platter with how much they're losing lately, and we were doing that too. But they were able to catch a lot of ground. They took advantage of how often we were losing. August has been a very hard month for us. So rolling into September, we need to go. Diamondbacks, Angels, or not Diamondbacks, Angels. We got the Diamondback series.
Astros.
And who do we play after that? Diamondbacks, Astros. Okay, so we need to go on a 3-game win streak here. We need a sweep. The Astros series.
I think you have to have. I mean, I guess you don't have to. Like, anything can happen, but ideally, you win 6 or more in this 8-game stretch of the 3 games in Arizona, then the
6
5 games.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So obviously you got to win at least 2 here in Arizona. Ideally, you want to sweep, and that's what might get you going. You go back to San Diego, and you're going to go and face the Astros, who are one of the best teams in baseball for sure. Face them earlier in the year, and we had some success, but I don't even know who's going to pitch those games. Obviously, Musgrove is probably going to throw one of them. And Paddack, I'm assuming, will throw another one of them. But that 5th spot is still up in the air right now, because you only have your 4 solidified starters. So it's going to be interesting to see if they bring anyone up or who they put in that spot. I definitely don't think a bullpen day is optimal, though.
No. I mean, how many times have we seen them rock the bullpen day recently? It has not went well.
Yeah.
I have a question for everyone listening, and you too, Isaac, because we were talking about this earlier. But there's 31 games left in the season. I think the amount of games that they need to win is 19 of those 31. So you go 19-12. I think that's what makes the playoffs. Isaac, you think it's 21-10, you said, right?
I think it's 21.
Yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think the record is to make it over the Reds? I think 19 should make you in. I mean, it's not a guarantee, of course, but that's what I would guess it takes is 19-12. I don't know what that puts their total record at, but that's what I think. And that's a 6 a .612 winning percentage. So, I mean, you're doing really well. You're a very, very good team. If they went on a winning streak here, if they won 7 or 8 games, that if they're going to go 19-12, they win 8 games, they go on an 8-game win streak, they don't even need to play 500 baseball for the rest of the way through. So, they need one of these big win streaks, and there's a chance that if they just have one big win streak, they just get really hot, they just will have to play 500 baseball. And unfortunately, that's what they've been doing for a long time now, playing not even 500 baseball, but, a little below average and a little below average of 500 baseball, besides like the early season streaks pretty much. But maybe you get one of those here. I mean, and the pitching is coming back. I know you brought it up a little bit, Isaac. I think Dinelson Lamet coming into the bullpen hopefully re-energizes the pen a little bit. It hasn't been that great lately. I mean, and it makes sense. I don't want to throw the guys in the bullpen under the bus. They've been amazing all year. One of the best bullpens in the game, and one of the biggest surprises of this season as well. So I don't like going out and slandering the bullpen when they've pitched so many innings. Also, when they've been throwing Weathers lately, it seems like, okay, why are you throwing Weathers? All that happens is it becomes a bullpen day, and then it's a loss. That's been the only outcome of that. I don't understand them that they keep doing that. And I like Ryan Weathers, but you need to send it. Like, you can't just keep throwing him out there to get lit up. It is not good. Like, if we want to talk about, the Padres, how they develop players, this is a prime example of what you don't want to do to a young pitcher, is just have him come out and get absolutely rocked. He has like a 9 ERA over I want to say his last 15 starts. Maybe not that quite high. It's got to be over a 7, because it was like high 6s for 15 starts, and it's been really bad lately. Yeah. And I feel really bad. I'm not trying to slander the guy. I think he's a good pitcher. No, I think he flashed that, and it just seems like, I don't know. It just seems like it's tough. Also, this comment just caught my eye because we were just talking about this actually.
Yeah,
right. A lot of people forgetting about the one postponed game. Yeah, I know. It's only a 7-inning game, so they just seem to throw 2 shutout innings. Yeah, that's a really positive thing. And that's what I'm saying about them potentially going on a win streak. If they go on, a quick win streak, like that could mean a ton. If they win these 3 games, okay, well then let's look at it. If they only need 19 games, they only need to go 16-12. That's very doable. And I still don't. I mean, this season is definitely, they haven't been as good as we thought they were going to be. Now we did kind of think wildcard team, but this isn't the record. This isn't the life of this team that we expected. Right. So I think that's why everyone's, and rightfully so, why a lot of people are pretty down. But I do think there's still a chance this year. I don't know. We haven't talked about percentages in a while, Isaac. What's yours?
As far as winning percentages?
No, as what the Padres' chances to make the playoffs right now. And also, real quick, for everyone that does want to talk about, the future and stuff like that, we will talk about that. I've been seeing a lot of comments like, can you talk about potential off-season moves? So we might start, bringing some of that into the show. But let's talk about playoffs for a little bit longer.
Yeah. So you brought up earlier, you think they need how many? 19 wins? Yeah. So that would put them at around 88 wins. And for me, I think if the Padres want to get to a point where they don't have to control their own, or where they can control their own fate, I think you need to get 21 wins. I think you need to reach that 90-win threshold. So that way, you're not on the last day saying, we need to beat the Giants and we need the Reds to lose to the Pirates. I mean, what are the odds of Reds? I mean, anything can happen in baseball, but the odds that we beat the Giants and the Reds lose to the Pirates, I don't know if that's very high. So Padres definitely need to go on a win streak like they did earlier this year, where they would go like on an 8 or 9 game win streak. And, I know it's going to be against some tough opponents, but it's not like those opponents that they were going on those win streaks against weren't very tough. Like they were good opponents. The Dodgers were involved in, I think, at least one of them, the one in June. The Cardinals were involved in one. So, there was.
I think the Astros were too. And that's one of the things they're playing.
Yeah, exactly. So, strength of schedule, I'm concerned about it, but it's not like this team's not able to hang with them. I would give them a 35-40% chance to make the playoffs. I've seen like 11, and I think that's blasphemy. This team's still good. It's just they're kind of in a big funk right now.
Also, one of the biggest questions was, when are these guys going to come back? And a lot of people felt like it might be mid-September for Darvish and Paddack. Like, it wasn't really certain. Like, everyone was hoping. I didn't think Paddack was going to start right now. It seemed kind of like really abrupt that they brought him back. So it does depend on how these guys look. But I think that's one of the big differences too. Because with those people, if someone said at this point 60% pods make the playoffs, I would probably go half that.
Yeah.
But like 30 to 35. But that's like the way that people have been talking about the Padres is that they have like a 2% chance of making the playoffs. It feels
Yeah,
like
it's
sometimes.
ridiculous.
Like they have a chance to get hot. But I definitely get the frustration at the same time. Like they've not been playing good. They also have not had any pitching, and they've refused to move away from Weathers in the bullpen days. I think that's the part that probably frustrates me the most. It feels like there were some winnable games if they call Adrian Martinez up. They do some different things. But I don't know. That's where I'm at with this. I don't know. What other questions do you guys have for us? See,
So
Lamet will be
regarding
caught of the pin. Go ahead.
so regarding that Weathers' last start, what frustrated me the most is that the Padres just had a really good win against the Angels, and everyone thought, okay, maybe this is a chance for them to go on a streak. And this is the same thing that happened in that Philly series after Jake Cronenworth hit the game time home run, and we're ultimately able to, come out with a walk-off win. Is that you throw Ryan Weathers out there and he blows it. And nothing against the guy, of course. I think he's a good pitcher, but ultimately you're trying to go on a win streak after having success. So, everyone thought, and I'm sure the team thought that walk-off win would be kind of a jolt to this team, a source of energy to try and get going. But how are you supposed to get going if the very next day your starter's giving up 5 in 3 innings and you're already in a big hole? And then, same thing happens against the Angels. We win in a 5-0 ball game after Joe Musgrove throws a complete game. Beautiful, beautiful baseball that day. That was some of the best baseball I've seen from them. Even if they scored off errors, they were still able to manufacture runs and take advantage of them. And then Ryan Weathers goes out there and blows it again. So it's starting to become a habit that can't keep happening. Like when this team's starting to get hot, you got to try and do everything to keep them hot. And throwing Ryan Weathers is not the move.
Yeah. Also got another comment here, and I'm in total agreement about that. I do think that, and someone asked who would I have rather thrown instead of Weathers or bullpen days. Adrian Martinez, Reese Neer would have been 2 names, or a piggyback of those guys. I think that, you look at their numbers in the minors, and I get that it's minor leagues, but they're being stretched out. Like they're throwing a lot of pitches, and then when Neer's been up, he hasn't really gone out of like the 3rd, I feel like. And I've actually liked what I've seen from him. Like maybe he would struggle, but I feel like if you even let him go 5, I think that's a possibility. And it never really seemed like they even wanted to test him on that, but then they just kept throwing Weathers in these bullpen days that where the guys were just getting rocked. And it was like, you got to change up a little bit. That's why I was a little bit frustrated with it. But also have a comment right here. The Padres have 7 against the Giants soon. Gosman and Longoria are both on the IL. Do you like the Padres' chances? I do. That's important. Obviously, Buster Posey has had a great year. He was banged up for a while, but I know he's back. I saw him just hit a home run the other day. I don't know where are you at against the Giants. I know that the Padres I feel like have played all right against them.
Yeah.
I also think that if you're talking it's playoff time baseball right now, especially for the Padres. Like they have to start winning a lot, and this is going to be a big game. So if the way that we've seen that the Padres have been this year, a lot of times it's like the big light games that have, they've flourished in. So hopefully that's the case. We've also talked about this. The life of this team doesn't quite seem there recently, but if that kind of gets jump started, that's something where I think these games, even though they're against good opponents, it's a great time to get hot against the other teams that are going to make it, that you're going to play in the playoffs. That's my thought on it.
Yeah. So regarding that Giants team, I wouldn't say that they're going downhill. Of course not. They're still playing some really good baseball. They lost their most recent series to the Braves, and that was their first series that they've lost since the All-Star break, I believe. So they're still playing some solid baseball. However, Kevin Gosman is starting to look a little more mortal than he did earlier in the year. He just landed on the IL. So, that obviously, if we're able to run into the Giants in that time frame that he's on the IL, that's going to help because Gosman had some really good outings against the Padres earlier this year. Desclafani is especially starting to look more mortal. I've been watching his past few starts, and he doesn't look as good. And I think he was kind of fluky, to be honest, even if the rest of the year he balls out. I don't think he's going to do this again next year. I've looked at his numbers before. There's nothing crazy. So I believe there is actually a pitcher that's doing really good for them. What's his name? Logan Webb. In his past 7 starts, has less than a 2 ERA, so he's doing really well. And you know, it's all right. Like, I do feel good about the Padres if they're able to go on a win streak and go into that Giants series in a win streak. You know, when they're going to series hot, they do really well. So, you know, hopefully we're able to go into that series hot and not have to run into Desclafani and Longoria, because they're even saying that. Like, I know people are thinking, why don't you want to run into them? Blah blah blah. But a lot of teams haven't had to run into our best starters, our best players. So that's what I think of it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point to bring up. I mean, it's gonna be fun to watch them play the Giants. I mean, that's kind of a matchup that we have really not seen that much this year. We haven't seen that in a long time. I'm excited for it. And like I was saying, and we've talked about this before, if you're gonna get hot, the best time to get hot is right before the playoffs, and they're playing against really top tier teams. So this is a great opportunity for them to really take charge and get going. Also, we got a message from Igor. I think this is right to you, Isaac.
Yeah, he sucks. Thanks, Igor. Yeah, no, I knew I wasn't wrong, dude. He sucks.
Also, Ace says he feels more confident with Near. Yeah, I really feel like, and they sent Near down. He did all right. He had a sub-4 ERA. Now, he didn't pitch a ton of innings, and they took him out in some jams and stuff, but the control was a little bit sporadic at times, but guys weren't hitting him that well. I don't know. I would have liked them to stretch him out a little bit more. I do still think there's a chance that Mackenzie Gore gets called up. Same thing with Adrian Martinez. But it maybe that's changing a little bit with all these guys coming back all of a sudden, with Paddack, Darvish, Lamet, all of them coming back. So it's going to depend. I mean, it might be they bring back Near instead of Gore or something like that. Apparently, Near does have more walks than innings pitched. I do have to say, though, I think there's been 2 innings where he's walked the bases loaded, right?
Yeah. His very first start, like his first or second inning, he walked the bases loaded.
He walked like 5 or 6 guys. So not that it's a small sample size, but I think he had a real. I remember his first outing was rough. I think it was the 3rd inning or the 2nd. I forget.
Yeah.
I think he only scored 1 run though. It was he got out of it, but it was definitely a little scary.
Yeah, and so the problem with Kinnear is that, yes, you can extend him, but it does get a little risky past 2 or 3 innings, because he has a good fastball, but eventually, you know, it's not a dominant fastball. Eventually, you're able to catch up to that fastball. Professional hitters are able to catch up to the young guys such as Ryan Weathers. So I do like the idea of maybe him and Diaz and probably not Weathers. I don't know how you can piggyback. And what frustrated me earlier in the year is that Weathers was such a young pitcher. Lamet was still having injury issues. So I was all in favor of just keeping the piggyback for a while. Just keeping the Weathers Lamet piggyback, and it was nasty. It was a really, really good piggyback. And if Weathers didn't work out, Gore's not even ready. So I don't know. But it was working out. It was doing really good, and I had a lot of confidence in that piggyback. And then they went away from it for some reason. So I don't know what they're going to do about that fifth. Oh, the fifth spot's Jake Arrieta. So Jake Arrieta is going to throw in that Astros game. It looks like he's going to be ready for that. Unfortunately, he kind of sucks, but he's going to be throwing in. So
he's going to be the 5th starter.
He's going to be the 5th starter for sure.
I would way rather see Gore. I'd rather see like so many other guys.
Yeah, he will be the 5th starter.
All right. What do you think about this? I'd rather we get the Giants over the Dodgers if the Padres make the wild card. I would flop.
Yeah. No, I actually told my dad I'd rather have the Giants over the Dodgers. But
the Giants are this magical team. I don't think you want to play them in a one.
Yeah. No, I know. I agree. Like they've had that magic in the wild card. It's just, for me, you know who the Dodgers are throwing in that wild card game. You know who. I don't want to face him. I'd much rather.
Okay, that's a very fair reason. Fair reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that might I might kind of be on board with this now.
Yeah, exactly, right. And
No.
so
Once you bring that up, and right now I mean, I saw people saying that Musgrove hasn't pitched against the Dodgers that well this year. His last start was all right, but that's still a big time mismatch. And I love Joe Musgrove, but that's a big time mismatch.
Exactly.
Where maybe you have the advantage against the Giants.
Yeah,
especially if with their two aces faltering a little bit.
They're faltering, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the only way I could feel okay with us going against the Dodgers, obviously Blake Snell, Mr. Dodger killer, has been fantastic against the Dodgers. But if we're talking a one game series, one game wild card, I'm not facing Walker Buehler. And I see Scherzer versus you in the wild card if we get the Dodgers. Like I said, they're gonna throw their Cy Young winner. And I know it's premature, but it looks like he's gonna win the Cy Young. Unless Cameron leads off.
Wait a second. We got people thinking multiple guys. Okay, who do you guys think would start? I think it would be Musgrove. Because this is a Snell, this is a you, and we're talking Musgrove. Who do you think, Isaac? I would start Musgrove.
I'm going Snell.
You're going Snell? Okay, wait, if it's against the Dodgers, because he does. Okay. If it's against the Dodgers, I think Snell's fair. But else, I'm starting Musgrove.
Yeah, I could probably see starting Musgrove against the Giants for sure.
Doubt. Here's my also my thought. I doubt that the Padres would take it as like, oh, if we go against the Dodgers, we're gonna start Snell, but if we go against the Giants, we're gonna start Musgrove.
No, they're gonna have someone set.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it like that. Yeah, I'm not confident enough in them doing something like that.
I agree. So for you say Musgrove. Why Musgrove?
I think he's just been the dude this year. And when he's on, if he's on, you might get a shutout. Like you legit might get a shutout in that game. And if he's off, you still have a chance because he's still going to take you 6 and he's still going to give up like 4 max usually. I feel like he rarely gives up more than that. Right. I know a lot of people are. Yeah, it's either Snell or Joe. No way, it's you. That's how I feel too.
Yeah,
and Snell's been good lately too. It depends kind of how he looks at in September. What if he just goes off and it's like, oh, Snell's unstoppable? Then you have to throw Snell, I think. So, which would be crazy. That would be. Think about that. We're gonna ride in like Snell and Pham. Everyone's gonna be so confused.
Yeah, everyone. I see a lot of conflicting. Like everyone's conflicted, And the reason I say Snell, Snell's looked great lately. His fastball looks dominant. Slider looks dominant. If he's able to get that curve mixed in better, it's going to look great for him. And that 3-pitch mix is really good for Blake Snell lately. His changeup hasn't been on all year. I think you can definitely factor that in with Larry Rothschild a little bit because I brought it up. Changeup guys such as Chris Paddack and Blake Snell. Because remember, Blake Snell's arguably most dominant pitch before he came to us was that changeup. So he wasn't having very much success with it. And honestly, I wouldn't mind either Musgrove or Snell. I don't think at this point it can be Yu Darvish. Ever since the sticky stuff has went away, other than that start against the Dodgers, it's been very rocky. So it would definitely be Lamet, or not Lamet. I see a bunch of people talking about Lamet. I see so much Lamet. It would have to be Snell or Musgrove.
So what do you think about this? Do you see this point by Jerry? And I don't know if this is just like a fluke or a coincidence or what the reasoning is behind this, but Snell's road numbers are terrible, and the game's going to be on the road, or could be on the road.
His away numbers are terrible, or his home numbers.
Blake Snell's. Remember the splits are like
Snell,
1 ERA compared
to
like 9?
Yeah. You have to start him at home, which unfortunately isn't the case.
So now you see the Musgrove point.
Now I'm a little skeptical.
Oh, I don't know, dude. It's a tough one. I feel like everyone would have thought. Do you know what we said? We said that at the beginning of the year. Actually, I don't know if it was us or Chase or who was leading this argument, but I remember we were talking about this, and we said that there's a chance that Musgrove starts over Darvish in a wild card game. And people were like, What the hell are you guys talking about? And now, like, everyone's like, yeah, it's probably Snell or Musgrove.
Yeah. No.
And that wasn't even like to knock Yu Darvish or anything. That was just like, hey, Musgrove's going to be really good.
Yeah, and he always had the potential. He had the good slider. He, has a good fastball. I mean, throughout the year, up until Rothschild was gone, and I'm not blaming on Rothschild whatsoever. He was throwing like 92, 93 mile per hour fastballs. As soon as he leaves, we saw the dude pump like 96, bro. That was crazy. And so I brought up this question right here. This is a tough one.
I think, okay, I have a long answer to this. I think when you talk about sticky stuff, I don't think that necessarily is spider tack, because every guy uses some sort of, not every guy. What was it? The number was like over 90%. I think that's what what was reported. And that could be sunscreen and rosin, which is just like a mix that's been used since like the 1920s.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that people use. So you've probably been using some sort of substance, like almost every single pitcher does, that's not illegal for like 25 years or more, because he's like 34 years old. So I think that like, and maybe he didn't use it when he was a little kid, so maybe a little bit later, maybe 20 years, but like he's been using it for a long time. Whatever he does use, because like he like wipes stuff on his glove, like that could just be like some little mix, and it wasn't illegal. Like he didn't break a rule. With that said, he's also been, got the injury bug. And so while I don't know if this is going to be the best year for him, I do think that probably next year, like, with preparation, with the ability to not, because remember, they just pulled the plug on like, oh, you can't use any of this stuff that you guys have been using your whole careers. And I mean, you saw, was it Glasnow that got Tommy John the very next day?
Yeah.
And he was like, he basically blamed on it. Like, dude, you just asked me to completely change. I had to pitch the next day. And so it threw a lot of guys off big time. And I think it's kind of thrown Darvish a little bit. I think it's a lot of veteran players. So I do expect, him to be a lot better next year, but I do think it's taken its toll on him a little bit this year, but I don't think it's like spider tag necessarily. I don't know how, we can't assume that,
No, of course. I'd probably give it a both. Losing what you've been using for so long in such a, like, you don't really have much time to prepare for it. Losing that, not being able to prepare, it's gonna affect you in some sort of way. And he's only had one, maybe two great starts ever since then. So you can definitely attribute it to the sticky stuff going away, because he's been using it for so long. It wasn't illegal for anyone. Even Trevor Bauer was basically like, well, everyone else is using it, shit, I'll use it. So, he started using it, everyone started using it. And back injury, he's already old. He's okay, not old. Sorry for everyone that's 34 or up. But he's getting up there in age, and so when you're combining injuries and having to adapt on the fly, it's not going to be a recipe for success. I actually thought that he would be on the IL longer. So it was good to see him come back in such a short time for him.
Sorry, I was unmuting myself. Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying mix of Rosenbag and injury. I feel like that's what it is. Some people, we're not ready for the playoffs with Weathers right now. I get it. But I don't think that he's going to be part of the rotation come playoff time. I don't think that'd be the case. We got this. Some love from Musgrove. WHIP is 5th best. ERA is 8th best. Innings are 11th. And strikeouts per 9 is 10th. So, borderline top 10 pitcher. I mean, that's a top 10 pitcher right there.
No, easily top 10 pitcher for sure.
So that's really impressive stuff.
Yeah, especially because I don't think anyone, maybe outside of like a couple people, expected this. He's been great.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. Also, I will be getting more Padres gear. I have some stuff in front of me, but I'm trying to figure out a new setup here. I want to get the better backdrop like Isaac. Isaac's got to slowly add into it.
Yeah, all I got right now is the swag chain and the frame, but when I move again, I'll be trying to look for. So I got a Fernando Tatis, a rookie bat. I got it was in 2019 or 2020 when I got it. it was like a certain model, a certain amount was made of the bat that he was using his rookie year. So I'm trying to frame that, put it up above my head. These two are probably going to stay, obviously. And then, I don't know, probably kind of try looking for a flag. There's a bunch of cool Padres stuff right now, dude. Like, it's a good time to start, like, look for stuff.
What I really want is I want to get a Jake Cronenworth rookie card somewhere.
Dude,
I would love that. But I can't
sick.
find them. I was looking for them, and there's like none of them on that I could find to buy. So,
You know what really makes me mad is that on Fanatics, if you go on Fanatics, the Dodgers have like 5 or 6 different players that you can pick from. But if you go on the Padres one, it's literally just Machado, Darvish, and Tatis.
There's
which I'm sure.
There's Kim Love. There's some Kim Love on there.
On Fanatics?
Because they have his jersey in Korean.
Oh, dude, I saw that one on the way to the stadium. I guess the Dodgers, dude, that one's sick.
No, I like it a lot.
Dude, that one's sick.
Oh, I love this. This is hilarious. I'd rather start. Dude, we were talking about that when everything was going down and when Darvish went down. We were talking about it. We're like, the only way to salvage this season is to throw Jake Cronenworth out there, give him a couple bullpens, let him do it.
Ace, Dre.
Also, got a question here, Isaac. You're more of living in San Diego. You're going to be soon.
Yeah, I will be. I'm from there. I was born in Oceanside. Lived there for the first 8 years.
Yeah, and he goes to school in San Diego. So
yeah.
I was born in San Diego, but I live in Manhattan right now, so I'm not in the San Diego area.
Yeah,
that's why I was banking on the Padres to play the Mets in the playoffs. I was really hoping that was going to be the case.
We're both from the Coachella Valley. Yeah. I see people talking about Jake's walk-up song. That is the coolest walk-up song. Dr. Dre, dude, that is so cool.
Let's see what else they got. And it would let. Okay, wait. I didn't get the beginning part of this. Oh! If Cronus pitching, they could let Tatis play short. It's hilarious.
I would honestly rather pitch Cron than Weathers too right now.
Oh, here we go. Oh wait. Okay. I have to say I do like Myers' walk-up song.
What is Myers' walk-up song?
It's what's the band? I'm blanking on their name. Oh, it's a rock band. It's like a very intense rock, not intense, but like 90s rock band, 80s rock band. Oh. They have a movie, Kickstart My Heart. Who is it? Motley Crue. That's who it is. Oh, it's Motley Crue.
So that's your favorite one?
Well, it's like the perfect walk-up song. It's like a very energizing rock song that was like the song of the year. You know, like really well known. Like people, it's like a very famous song. Right. So it's like I just feel like that's like what a walk song should be. I also love Cronenworth as well. I think that also fits the
Cronenworth is sick. I really liked Tommy Pham's earlier. I think he changed it, but he had Freestyle by Lil Baby. That was sick too.
Let's see what else we got. All right, this is a good one. Not about walk-up songs, but what are your thoughts on Robert Hassel, Jackson Merrill? Jackson Merrill's actually been doing pretty good in rookie ball. Pretty much. Okay. One thing that I was texting you guys earlier, everyone's really, really down on the Padres right now. Most of the dudes in the farm are absolutely balling right now. Like the last month, pretty much all the rookies, Merrill, Wood, Hassel just got moved up. Gores looked good the last couple of starts he's had. Let's see. Let's start looking. What's his name? Mears has over a 900 OPS. Like, dudes are balling out in the minors. So I do think that needs to be brought up. Like we haven't even talked about that enough. And we're gonna have, I think tomorrow we're recording about September call-ups. So we'll definitely bring up the guys that have been playing really well. I will advocate to call Robert Hassel up. I know it's super early, and maybe you don't do it right away. Like maybe you do it if call him up if they got eliminated. Yeah. If Abrams wasn't injured, yeah, he would have got called up. I think
he'd be up. Yeah, he'd be up.
I bet you that I think Abrams will start the year next year and in left, probably left.
Hopefully,
that's what I think.
Yeah,
or maybe second if Cronenworth played first if they moved Myers. But I do like Robert Hassel a lot. To kind of move away from that, I do like him a lot. I think that one thing that's concerning is that he apparently has a really high ground ball rate, like another Padre that a lot of people get really frustrated about. But Hassel is very, very fast. He's a good fielder. He's I mean, I would say he's like a prototypical left fielder. Gonna hit for a lot of average. Just gonna be a solid player all around. So I like Robert Hassel. I think Merrill's a little bit more of a project, and I think I don't know. He's a little bit harder to project because he just like straight out of high school, or like we've kind of seen Hassel. We've seen how his numbers have been. I'm gonna look up right now Jackson Merrill's stats. I remember he was hitting over 300 in rookie ball, and he had shown some pop. Like he was doing well. I think he was like over 800 OPS, hitting like over 300. But what do you think about these guys, Isaac?
I actually haven't kept up that much with Jackson Merrill. I've seen a couple good things on him, so obviously that's great to see. You want to see good things out of the guy you drafted in the first round. Regarding Robert Hassel, it just seems like he's raking on all levels right now. He had a rough spring training, but that was his first game action. Going up against some pros is going to be tough for him to go out there and produce the way we think he is. Now, single A, fantastic. Double A, he, small sample size, but he's been great. So, and he looks like, everything about him looks really good. He looks like the kind of the power hitter that we all expect him to be. And he can kind of be like your Jesse Winker kind of guy. So everything about him looks good. I'm thinking he's going to be making a difference at the MLB level next year. Probably not immediately. I would say in July, September-ish area. And I think that's realistic for him. Regarding CJ Abrams, it's important to remember that if we don't make the playoffs, Tatis will need surgery. And I don't know if Tatis will, regardless, I don't know if Tatis will be healthy by the beginning of the season. So I could imagine CJ Abrams sliding in, or Cronenworth playing short and Frazier playing second for now. And Profar, Kim, there's a lot of options still.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good timelines for those guys. Going back to Jackson Merrill's stats, he's hitting 312 with the 780 OPS. I also realized the Padres game started 2 minutes ago. I did not realize it was that late. But yeah, so we're probably gonna wrap it up. But yeah, we do like both those guys. I mean, I think the farm has been something that hasn't been talked about a ton. But tomorrow we're gonna post about it. Probably tomorrow evening, so probably a little bit later. But we are gonna have an episode about who should be called up in September. And if hopefully there's some other guys that people want to talk about too, and we can do a prospect episode shortly after that as well, if that's the case. Maybe some guys that didn't get called up that there's some questions looming about their future now. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back tomorrow talking about the September call-ups. So talk to you guys later.